Welcome to another edition of Tom's Real Food Podcast. This week's podcast is brought to you by Keto Clean Eating, and this week's Wednesday video is Keto Chicken Soup. Let's go to the podcast. Everybody, welcome back. Tom Garvey, the Keto Cook. Today, Tom's Real Food Podcast. We're going to go over a lot today. Holidays are coming. Thanksgiving's right around the corner. The problem is all the carbohydrates. This is the one holiday where carbs take over. I mean, everything that you're going to be making for Thanksgiving is high carb related. Pies, potatoes. I mean, everything that's against the keto lifestyle is there. How to handle it, how to get through it, or just say to hell with it, I'm going to give it a try, and then start back over again. That could be the fool's errand right there. But in the same token, though, if you came this far with me, this is video number 20, I believe, you can get around this. There's a way around it, and if you're type 2 diabetic, we'll go over some of that kind of stuff. But while we do that, something that's been bothering me, that's been in the news for a long time now, for many years. Food recalls. I mean, there's been a ton this year. I think what I read was 720 or 740. Irregardless, it's a ton, a lot. Some of it's frivolous. Some of it's very dangerous. And it's almost to me like it's lightheartedness how they approach it, especially from the media. All right. That's where everybody listens to news or, the 24-hour cycle. But they give you the flash, okay, about it, and one person died, and blah, 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 and they're recalling this. But it seems like every aspect of it is affected. So we're going to get into that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through some stuff I picked up from the internet, and as I put it up, we're going to talk about it. And then we're going to get into Thanksgiving and stuff like that. So, all right, here we go. First one up is carrots. Now, this was a couple days ago one day ago, that this came up, and that they discovered that this has Salmonella or E. coli. They're not really sure what it is yet. And it's in Puerto Rico, United States, Puerto Rico, and Canada. Big recall on these carrots. So, basically, what they're saying is it is coming from the packaging, packaged goods, all right? So salmonella is basically a stomach upset, all right? E. coli can be dangerous, all right? That comes naturally from, it's a bacterial infection, basically comes from human feces or animal, depends. So what I did was I did a little more digging in there. I asked about how many different types of recalls were there from last January of 2024, and it popped up to be 740. So now you can just go down the list and see exactly what it is. The newest one, as of last night, was peanut butter. Okay, they're not really saying what's really wrong with it, okay, or what brands. You really have to dig deep into it. The newest one, as of today, as I'm recording this right now, is pistachio nuts. That's up in Canada. Could contain Salmonella or E. coli. So when they say it may contain, a lot of the past recalls were for packaged meats, all right, packaged chicken. I know there was 5,000 pounds of chicken that was recalled. So what's going on here? What's behind all this? Very hard to distinguish. Me thinking, well, it could be maybe a price hike. Now it's not like the pandemic, like with the flu. Now they're talking bird flu. That's another thing. Monkeypox is in the air. So really, what's going on with this? Is it the prices again going to go up? With the carrots, I think they said there was one person who died, and it's also the same thing going on like with McDonald's. Now we have talked about this. The processor, the people who cut the onions, package it, and sell it to McDonald's, Taco Bell, Burger King, all these different places. They're the ones who had the problem with it. okay? Not McDonald's. McDonald's had no idea. But right away, they point the finger at the major corporation. I don't know exactly what's going on. The funniest one was butter. Okay, butter out of Costco. It said in it may contain milk. Think about that. Butter may contain milk. All right, well, I don't know. Second half of this podcast is brought to you by Tommy Spice. That's granulated salt, granulated garlic, granulated onion, and granulated black pepper. Also, next week's Wednesday video, Tom Garvey the Keto Cook, is my new chicken wings. Got to check this one out, people. This is going to be good. Okay, let's get back to the podcast. Okay, back to second half of the podcast. Now, next week's video is going to be really good. I'm going to show you exactly how you can get around the high expense of chicken wings, and it really works out nice. But you got to watch. I really do appreciate it. Also, the Tommy Spice. Make your own blends. Play with the. That's why I always say play with your food. Mix up different ways your way. I mean, because we're accustomed of buying things in the store and trying to. Oh, that's too hot. I don't want that. That's why I say make your own blends. Getting back to this recall stuff. There again, I try not to go down that rabbit hole as far as conspiracies and stuff like that. Now, the carrot recall, all right, that just comes right after the E. coli scare, okay, that they pointed the finger at McDonald's. So looking at different media and how they bring this all about is that McDonald's did it, okay? No, that's the furthest thing from the case. McDonald's is so big, and the people that they employ, they don't want to take no chances as far as somebody getting cut or hurt. It's bad enough that they're dealing with a younger workforce, all right? And to cut that many vegetables and stuff in store itself, in-house itself, is crazy. It's just completely nuts. So I do agree with them as far as buying the vegetables from a purveyor who actually processes it and packages it. So, yeah, I get that. So the blame should be going on to the people who actually processed the stuff. That's where it came from. The E. coli did not come from McDonald's, okay? They're the biggest name in the industry, and either somebody had a vendetta against them or whatever. But you have you have Taco Bell, bought from the same purveyor. Also, you had Burger King. Don't hear nothing about Burger King. All right, or the rest of the other, down the line, down the market, people who bought from this certain packager. All right, let's put it that way, processed packager. Most of the recalls, that's where it's coming from. But they'll give a line of stores, okay, who buys from this specific packager. All right, let's put it that way. So now the carrots, all right, now I said Puerto Rico, United States, and Canada so far that have been affected by it. They said one person died, and I don't know, so many, 15 or 16 were hospitalized or sick. So now the difference between Salmonella and E. coli is E. coli can be deadly, all right? And that's also a bacterial infection that can come from human feces, okay, animal feces, and just bad bacteria, not washing your hand, going to the bathroom, not washing your hand. That's exactly how that can be, can go into the food, especially meats. All right. Now, as far as vegetables, most of it, they're saying E. coli or salmonella. Salmonella is a infection in the stomach. Basically, what you do is you more than likely comes from food products. Chicken, some kind of meats, pork can come from. Also, and that's basically a lot in the vegetables. And that's what the main thing is right now with these carrots and stuff. So as we go on, I dug a little deeper. Like I said, I'm going to just retract a little bit what I said earlier, showing that presentation, that some of it is frivolous, okay? Not to be taken lightly. If somebody died, or in the case with McDonald's that they're accusing McDonald's, now it says, the headline said, 100 now sick from E. coli from McDonald's. I don't know. I don't know about that. There again, they're one of the biggest And they took a hit. They took a big money hit, believe me. And now I just seen another headline earlier this morning that McDonald's is about to spend $100 million trying to rectify what happened. In other words, with sales or whatever, advertising and all this stuff. So it's money generated. If you get where I'm going with that. Like I said, I'm not a conspiracy guy, but something's funny about it. All of a sudden now you got peanut butter. Okay, that was the latest one a night or two ago. That the salmonella and peanut butter. Okay, but now people do have peanut allergies. So how is this all coming? Is the price going to go back up again? That's what I'm looking at, because how close are we? We're a week, less than a week away from Thanksgiving. So people have candy carrots and stuff like that. It just, to me, it just sounds a little crazy. All right, and then you go down the line. There was one part, now I don't know if you could see it clearly enough, or if I went too fast, that it said 100 million pounds of meat. It didn't specify what kind of meat was recalled. All right, that's a lot of meat. Okay, now you're wondering. Okay, prices of meat went up. Everybody's blaming politics on it. Politics has nothing to do with that. Like I said earlier on, there's 4 beef packing manufacturers in the country. 2 from the United States and 2 from overseas. And what we do is we send our stuff out. They packages it out, and out of the country, and we buy it back packaged. Okay, think about that. If we would only go back to open up our ranches again, because it's all about the almighty buck, and that's what I believe. That's what this whole thing is. Believe me, if it was a serious food outbreak, almost like the pandemic, which you're not supposed to talk about, and how that happened, then you would see different changes in a lot of different stuff. This nickel and diming stuff, where people get sick now, guy my age, whatever medications I'm taking, okay, sometimes can react with something that was tainted with salmonella. When I cook, all right, Marie is a fanatic about bleaching the boards, cleaning everything down, wiping everything down, and it's crazy, okay? But that's what you have got to do. Wiping your knives, cleaning your knives. She'll bleach them and then put them in the dishwasher. Make sure it's good and hot, the whole bit, to try to kill off any kind of bacteria. And for as much as I cook, that can be a problem. So now getting into Thanksgiving now. Keep your eye open. Go and check. Google it. Go look it up. Now Google's not the answer with everything. My point is, you don't hear this on the mainstream media. Okay, they'd rather talk about some dudes having sex with the secretary or whatever. It's out of my league. I don't like to hear that kind of crap. I want to know what's going on with our country. How are people dealing with the price of foods and stuff like that? They just don't show that. So I think we need to let the media know exactly what we want to see and not what they want to show us. 24-hour cycle. All right, that's enough of that bloviating stuff there. Getting into Thanksgiving now. Thanksgiving happens to be, think about it, that and Christmas, the highest carbohydrate intake known to humans, okay, that we would take in. So you would have, mashed potatoes or baked potatoes, sweet potatoes, yams, all different kinds of root vegetables that are processed, and then candy them, plummet them with sugar, and put them in. Not that it's bad. Some of it's really good. And then I'm the type of guy who keeps looking over the table there to see what kind of pies there are. Your coconut custard, apple, cherry, blueberry, pumpkin, sweet potato pie, pecan pie. I mean, all kinds of different stuff like that. And it's there. It's there for a couple days anyway. So not to throw anything at the stuffings, the dressings. It just goes on and on and on. So you wonder why you fall asleep on a couch, or your uncle, he brings his sleeping bag, and you wonder why, because he winds up on the floor in the living room snoring. Anyway, we got to be careful with that. So here's my takeaway from if you're strict eating clean and stuff like I am, you just roll with it, okay? You're not supposed to have it, especially if you're at somebody's house And you know, if you get invited to somebody's house and you turn around and say, oh, I'm keto and this and that, I can guarantee you're not going to get invited back next week or next year. The whole thing is a little bit, okay? Indulge a little bit once a year. It might affect you, especially a type 2 diabetic. You got to be very careful of how you handle taking in that many carbs. A little bit at a time. You know you're going to go into a tailspin, like I would. But you got to be thoughtful about it, and you also got to be mindful of your own capabilities of what's going to happen. I know myself. If I have a lot of sugars, a lot of high carbs, I'll start with a headache. Then I know. Oh, back off. Better not have another one. This past year, my birthday, my 70th birthday, we had ice cream cake. So yeah, I mean, it was a Reese's chocolate ice cream cake. Well, I tell you what, I could have sat down in the middle of that thing and just devoured it. But you got to be careful. You just can't. Your health is everything. So take your time with it. Enjoy your family. Have a little bit, but also be mindful. Now, if you're going to, be, adamant about, well, I can't have this, I can't have that, keep it to yourself, especially if you're around people. Nobody wants to hear that. And then they look at you like you're having a nut to begin with. So, but once that's over with, get back up and do it again. Right now, I am carb cycling. Now, what does that mean? That means I'm eating carbs. All right. I had some stomach issues. I didn't exactly know what was going on. Now reading into this with the salmonella stuff and everything, some of it was almost like familiar to that to the disease itself or to the bacteria itself. So I was trying to figure it out, and I have a little carbs here, a little bread. I'm not going to lie to nobody about it, and it sort of calmed everything back down again. So I got to jump back. Thanksgiving's a couple weeks, or a week away actually, and I got to really think about how I'm going to handle this, and then I got to get back on the horse again. So holidays are a tough time. There's not too many heroes out there that are on keto, so I'm not going to have that, or I can't have that, or they keep to themselves. All right, so make sure that you're mindful of what's going on. Even if you watch news a little bit, or if you read, all this stuff I find on the internet. I get a couple different newspapers that publish on the internet, and I read a couple of their articles like that, or also some medical stuff, a lot of food reviews and stuff like that I do. This is concerning to me that they have all of these recalls. Like I said, I believe it was 741 different recalls from January of last year. Now we're coming up on that's a lot of recalls. That's a lot of problems with what's going on. But the bottom line is we don't hear of what the remedy was. All right, is it happening in the fields? Is it going to get worse now? They're going to new administration's coming in. How are they going to be handling this stuff here? Is there going to be a bad outbreak coming out? Like I said, monkeypox they're talking about monkeypox. A couple people in the United States already have that. And a bird flu is popping up all around the country, on private farms and stuff like that. So that's working right now. So we got to be really mindful of what's going on. What does that have to do with us as far as keto eating and stuff like that? Well, you know what? How they handle our vegetables and how we buy vegetables is very different from back when I was younger. Okay, back when I was a kid, I remember different truck farms from where I lived would bring the produce to the market, and you bought it fresh right there. I'm old enough now. Let's not get crazy here. I'm old enough to remember when they would actually give you a freezer. Okay, it was actually Birdseye that did it. Would give you a freezer, and as long as you kept buying their product to put in that freezer, and it was the first time they were coming out that was being sold to the public as frozen foods. Okay, or you can pay it off if you want to do it, whatever. But I remember that as a kid getting a delivery, okay, of frozen foods. all kinds of frozen foods. So that was the breaking point from fresh then to frozen. It was always canned stuff around. I remember that. I'm not a big canned vegetable guy. I just don't like the taste of it. And most of it looks well cooked out anyway. But in a pinch, you need it. I'm not saying nothing bad against it. That's just me. So be aware, please, of what's going on as far as these different recalls and stuff, because it's getting to the point now where you got one guy that's coming in, I talked about last week, RFK is coming in, and he's talking about raw milk and all this stuff, and then you look at do some reading on it, and that's another big thing they're talking about, E. coli and salmonella and all this different stuff. So there's going to be a fight that's going to be going on, and I believe, deep down inside, I believe that this is going to come to a head as far as whether it was corruption between the FDA and CDC and big food. Big food and big pharma have a lot to do with how we feed America and around the world. So just stop and think. A small little farm may just take care of the area, but it doesn't take care of across the country. That's the other thing. Before I go here, the other thing is the cattle ranchers. How big food, big meat, let's call it that, pushed the little guy out. The feedlots, just about gone. And all this stuff here is worrisome to me, because are we being programmed of what we can and can't have? I don't know. There again, conspiracies. I don't. It might sound, if I listen to this myself, sounds like I might be leaning that way, but I'm not really. I have questions. I have a lot of questions, but I'm not getting the answers, and that's troublesome to me. Vegetables. I mean, I can remember as a kid, we would eat according to the season. Okay, summertime, late summer, Jersey corn. I grew up in New Jersey. The Garden State. Figure that one out. All right, listen to that name, the Garden State. There was farms everywhere. Up closer to New York City, you had the cities and towns that mimicked New York, but once you got south of that, I mean, it was all open ground. Still is. Some of it still is. But we would get all our different Jersey tomatoes, Jersey corn, and then the different meats and cycles. I can remember my grandmother telling me that they wouldn't eat pork until after January. All right? That's what, like, New Year's would be fresh ham they would have and stuff like that. And this is all coming back to me, and I'm saying, we can get it any time. I can get watermelon any time of the year here. Doesn't taste like watermelon, all right? But you have it. It's 24/7 around. You'll find it somewhere in the supermarket. So I don't know if we're going the right way, the wrong way, or I'm just an old fart, talking about old times and stuff like that. Eating clean is the best way to go. This is what the whole premise of this podcast is. Don't eat that packaged stuff. I have no worrying about getting salmonella or anything like that. My chickens, I don't buy them pre-packed, or they are packed, but they're not frozen. I don't buy them frozen. That somebody else packed them or processed them that way. So it's bad enough with that. I don't eat that much chicken anyway. But the pork and the beef and veal, which I very rarely have it. I haven't had it in years, or lamb. All right, that's the stuff that I eat. All fresh vegetables I have. That's eating clean to me. So I don't know. Well, anyway, listen. Thanks for watching. I really do appreciate it. This is really picking up pretty good. This is number 20, and I hope I'm not boring anybody. I try to keep my opinions to myself, but this stuff really got under my skin. As far as with the recalls and stuff like that, it seems a little crazy that we would have that many products recalled. And once you do a little bit of research, it's all the stuff that's packaged. And what I mean by packaged is that it is processed in some way. And you got to be careful. Look at Boar's Head. All right, Boar's Head had almost out of business. Okay, because of it. So, yep, you got to be careful with it. Listen, hit that like and subscribe button, and check out next week's video, different way of making chicken wings, and we'll continue. Listen, everybody, thanks for watching. I'm Tom, Real Food Podcast. I'm Garvey the Keto Cook. We will see you next week.